Robert Blackwell Sr. spent 25 years of his life working for a very large corporation, IBM. They taught him business, computer technology, and sales. His son, Robert Blackwell Jr., on the other hand, has never worked for anybody in his life. He has run his own successful computer business for 20 years. It was the senior Blackwell's son who convinced his father to quit his job and become an entrepreneur.
I think previous to my generation, it was much more difficult, I think, for African Americans to be entrepreneurial than, I'd say, in my generation. So I'm not quite sure how. I think it's, one is that my brain primarily functions in numbers, and I think that's kind of my only real skill is kind of numbers and thinking about how to make deals and things like that. So I'm not quite sure how. My father's kind of a negotiator, deal maker type, so I probably got that part from him.
My son, who was like this born entrepreneur, used to talk to me all the time about going into business. And so it was, I became an entrepreneur fundamentally by taking my son's advice. And I think I learned, what I learned as a business, I learned from a big corporation. And the fact my son pushing me to be entrepreneurial, it all kind of gelled about 10 years ago, and we created Blackwell Consulting Services, and and that's kind of how it happened.
I've always adored my father. My father's really the only man that I've ever looked up to. So I've always tried to get knowledge from my father, because my father's an incredible person. He really knows how to treat people. So I think one of the things I've learned from my father is how to be empathetic to other people.
When Robert Blackwell Sr. left IBM and went to work with his son, the change was not difficult for him.
To be honest with you, after I got into it, I didn't see a big difference. I thought that kind of business was business, sales was sales, the technologies. So I didn't see a great deal of difference between what I was doing and had been doing and what needed to be done. And business plans, income statements, balance sheets, all the fundamental things that you need if you're going to run a business and be successful were kind of there being worked on.
Well, actually, when we were in the same company, it was more difficult because my father's a little stubborn and I'm kind of easy to work with. No, actually, we're both pretty strong-willed people. But now I really enjoy the relationship that I have with my father. I probably seek advice from my father more than anybody. So I enjoy it now, I think, more than ever. When I was growing up, my father worked a lot. I mean, he had to travel a lot. So I really didn't actually know my father that well until I got to work with him. I just knew how he was at home.
Today, Robert Sr. and Robert Jr. each run their own companies. They are in the same industry, in the same city, and even have offices in the same building.
When we were working together, there is always this father and son conflict, that it's just so natural that people don't think about very much, but we're both grown men. We have ideas of strong ideas of how we want to run things, and we have this what is on most days a good thing between father and son, but there is this assumed the father is the head guy and the son is following him, right? Well, at some point we decided we both wanted to run firms, and so we went and did that, and now we have a situation where the father and son relationship is, I think, really good, but it has nothing to do whatsoever with our business. And the father and son is a totally different thing. And our relationship with Robert's company and mine is a total business relationship. We talk about doing deals together, we talk about partnering, we even talk about whether our firms ought to get together. And it is a conversation between equals. And it makes it it's just a better relationship all the way around for us at this point in time.
Both me and my father have I think, very strong characters. And so I think my father's been obviously very successful since I left. And our company is doing really well. And now I can just have a kind of a relationship. He's just kind of my father. We talk about business sometimes, but you know, there's not much pressure there. You know, his firm is structured differently than mine, but we're both successful, so I enjoy actually the relationship that I have with my father. I always have, because I think the most important lessons I've learned in my life have come from my father.
Life with the Blackwells is truly a family affair. Besides his successful son, Robert Jr., 3 of the 5 Blackwell children now work for Dad's company. But Robert Blackwell is quick to tell you the real success story in the family is his silent partner, his wife.
I just have a great family. I have a great family, and the one